So what the compressor does is it allows for automatic gain reduction. 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, yeah, 1, 2, 2. We'll deal with that in a moment. Now, if we look at the compressor for a minute, you'll see that.
What is it? Did you turn the compressor on or?
Haven't done anything with it yet.
All right, okay.
Because we haven't selected the right channel.
Okay.
Okay, now do you see this green line that's coming up? Right? That's the signal line that's going into the compressor. You see on the right hand side. This one here is the signal going into the EQ section. You see, one of the things that digital can very easily do is it can overload very easily. Not from the source point, but further down the line. So if I put a really extreme EQ on, turn the level down, like this sort of thing, which is really extreme, 2, 2, 2, 2, you can see the EQ is actually overloading. Not the actual channel, because it would come up there. 2, 2, but the actual EQ is overloading.
That's the light there.
The peak light. So there's a peak light for each piece of processing, except for the gate. So you see the peak, and you'll see the peak, and you'll see the peak for the preamp. All right, and then there's a peak light on the channel. Now that's what they call a multi-point peak. So any, if you've selected that channel and you're looking at these, so if any of these are peaking at any point, it'll show up as a peak there. So it might not necessarily be the preamp, it might be somewhere down the line. So let's reset that because that looks terrible. Now, the compressor. So, do you see the way that green line goes up, right? So if you imagine 2, 2, 2, 2, let's say I was able to stand here with my hand on the gain like that, and if somebody suddenly shouted into the mic, 2, 2, 2, and then it would go back up to where it was. Does that make sense? That's what a gate does, or a compressor does. But to do that, you need to set certain parameters. And the first parameter is the threshold. And that's the level at which the microphone must reach before the compressor kicks in. All right? 2, 2. And you'll see it as a broken line, look. 2, 2. Let me pop it in, sorry. See the line? 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. So the red line now that's coming in, that's the gain being reduced. Because you passed the threshold.
Got it.
Yeah? Now, without getting too scientific, you've got a ratio, and that's how much gain reduction. For every dB above the threshold, you get 3 dB or 4 dB of reduction. Let's not get into the science. General rule of thumb for a vocal, 3.2 is good for a vocal. So every point above, you get 3 points below. Of reduction. The gain is actually there to compensate for the fact that the compressor is turning the gain down. So you can add that gain back in again to give you an even flatter response. Sorry, Richard. The attack and release is how quickly the gate reacts once it reaches the threshold, and then the release is how quickly it turns off as you drop below the threshold. Now the desk again is wonderful because it'll shortcut a load of these things. So you see where it says manual RMS. If we go into, for a vocal, auto slow opto, and I wouldn't put a compressor on anything else in this room except the vocals. And what auto slow opto does is it changes the parameters of how the attack and release of the compressor. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this compressor in for you guys to use, because this is the last piece of this. And then we're on to the outputs, and then we'll deal with the facts, and then how to store everything, and then we'll look at the computer. We're done. All right? I always say that and then I end up adding something else. Never done. Anyway.
You said that about half
Yeah, I know. Okay, so as you look at each piece of processing, right? Let's just bring that back down to 3.
I want my mum.
Okay. Now,
Just give me a second.
as you look at it, right? Do you see the red line, the gain reduction?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You want that to. This is a vocal setting now. If you want to take a photograph or a note of that, that's a vocal setting for a compressor.
Yeah.
All right. Don't worry about the hard and soft knee. That's just changes how the line appears. The compressor kicks in a wee bit earlier, but I always like to keep it a hard knee. I like to keep as much of the original sound before it gets to the compressor. 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. But you see when I shout in there, you can see the compressor kicking in. 2, 2.
Yeah.
All right. Now you don't want. What you really want is you want the green and the red to meet each other. You don't want them overlapping. 2, because if you do that, 2, 2, 2, 2, that's too much compression. Way too much. In fact, 2, 2, 2, 1, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. That's about it there. You shouldn't be noticing it until you turn it off. All right, we'll get rid of that in a minute because we're going to deal with the outputs. Now, that's the compressor. Now, as you look at any piece of processing, right, you'll see on this little function button, it says library. So you can store your own EQ settings, your own compressor settings within the desk and recall them to any channel that you wish to use them on. So if we go to the compressor and we go library, you'll see down the left side we've got compressor library, and there is actually some compressors actually built in that Alan Heath put in. Right? So you can see like gentle, heavy, bass, vocal. Like there's a vocal compressor. It's a very good starting point. But if we go to user, we can store a new compressor, and I'd call this Vox. Okay, leave the recall preamp off. Never recall the preamp. I'll explain to you in a moment why. Now, when I go to a different channel and I bring up the compressor and I go library, I can go in there and I can go recall that, and that puts it on there. If I want to reset the compressor, I can hold the reset and press the compressor. Or if I want to reset the whole channel, let's say I've got the compressor on and the EQ's doing weird things and the compressor's like that and the gate's on like that and high pass filter's in and it's way over there. If I hold the reset button and press the channel, in this case channel 1, it'll reset the whole channel except the preamp for obvious reasons. Because you could have the preamp set, you see, for a kick drum, then you'd reset it and the preamp would ramp back up to its default state of 28 dB, and somebody'd hit the bass drum and the speakers would fall off the wall, and then you'd be in real trouble.
So the preamp is just as it's coming in, basically?
Yes.
Yeah.
Just as the signal's coming in. Now, that's the library. Now, the other thing that you can do is you can copy. Let's say you've got 2 or 3 vocalists all doing the same thing. So let's say we've got, we'll use this as an example. So let's say we've got the channel and we've got high pass filter in. We'll take a wee bit of that.
I'm talking about me.
We'll take a wee bit of.
Anyone watching this video, I'm talking about me.
We'll take a wee bit of that high pass filter and we'll take a wee bit of that out like that, and we'll add a wee bit of that in like that, you see, right? 2, 2. So there, almost immediately, you can hear a massive improvement in the sound of it. 2, 2. We'll get it even better in a minute because we can use the graphic. 2, 2. Now what I can do now is I've got the compressor in 2, 2. So you can hear immediately I'm getting a lot more level. Just by using the EQ, the extra parameters on the EQ. But I can copy that channel. So if I go copy, select, go to another channel, paste, select. Oh,
I have copy and paste. Oh, good. I know that.
yeah, so copy, select. It'll tell you down here, copy channel 13 processing. Go to channel 2 and paste, select. And you can put that onto any amount of channels. Or if you want to reset the channel, just and that resets it. This is the wonderful thing about digital. It's very easy to get lost, but it's also very easy to get yourself back to a starting point, which is important. Now, that's the processing of the inputs.
Yep.
All right. Let's go to the outputs.